is this dark matter stuff. So the question is, what is that? But now, so the picture that comes out of this, in fact, there was a woman. Where was the University of New South Wales? That's Australia. There's the University of New South Wales, and in 2004, a young lady named Tamara Davis. She wrote a thesis, and what she did, she took the best dark energy data, the best dark matter data, everything that was kind of known, it's called precision cosmology. With the advent of computers and new electronics in the last 10 to 15 years, she took all these NASA data and did a computer model based on Einstein's equations, Einstein's general relativity equations, which is the theory of gravity. And so she calculated what Einstein's theory says given this new observational data with the dark energy, the dark matter, all that. And a very interesting thing, it turns out that, well, I'm going to now simplify it. Technically, for anybody who's a physicist here, it's called the de Sitter space-time is a solution. The future. Well, what happens is our universe evolves into what's called the de Sitter solution. And what that means is this. It's as if we are living in the middle of a double fishbowl. Right? Just imagine you're a fish swimming in water, but you're in a spherical bowl. Okay, you're in a spherical bowl, and just imagine you're a fish at the center of this bowl. Except there are going to be two bowls. This is what's called the past horizon, the past particle horizon, and the future horizon. And I forgot I have this thing here. Let me. How do I pay that page down? Oh, wait a minute. Let me get back to that. I was going to. Let me get to the picture.
Did you say one of the present and one of the future, or one of the past and one?
Here we go. Okay, this is the picture here. All right. Now this is what's called. It's hard to. I mean, this is pretty technical, but just take my word for it. Here's the Big Bang. This is the moment of inflation, right? This is I'll call it the alpha point of creation. Can everybody see this? If you can't see it, get up, because otherwise you won't be able to get it. This is what's called it's called the conformal diagram, and time is like a picture of the whole history of the universe. The whole from the moment of inflation to the omega point, which is actually in the infinite future, but due to the magic of mathematics, a trick of a guy named Roger Penrose at Oxford, is called the conformal transformation. So infinite time is collapsed down to finite time. It's just a mathematical trick, okay?
Does it fold upon itself, Jeff?
No. Here's what happens. Here we are, so to speak. Imagine you're kind of an immortal god, and this is your world line. Okay, this is space is on the horizontal, time is going up the vertical. And this is so here's the point of creation. It's like 13.7 billion years ago is when this moment of inflation happened. That's calculated from Einstein's theory and the data. So about 13.7 billion years ago, our observable piece of the multiverse. See, there are many universes. We're just trapped in what we can see because we're limited by light signals. Okay, so what happens is this green dotted line. That's called the past particle horizon, okay? And what it is, the way you have to imagine, if you take a moment of time is like a horizontal line, and where the horizontal line, imagine a horizontal, here, this blue line here, can you see this? Where that line intersects the past particle horizon, what that actually is, it's a spherical shell. It's like a spherical shell of, I'll call it black light. It's like we're surrounded. It's what's called it's like the surface of a black hole, except we're inside the black hole. It's not quite a black. It's called the horizon, and what it means is we cannot see anything outside of that particle horizon. But as we move forward in time, we'll be able to see more and more of the universe that's behind the horizon, and so that's what's called a past particle horizon. So it's like a spherical barrier. So like a spherical barrier, but that we can't see anything in our past that barrier, okay? Because of the property of light, the way light propagates. We're assuming all we can know is from light signals. So anything that's emitting light that's beyond that past spherical shell called the past particle horizon, we don't know it's there. But as time goes on, we begin to see a little more, some stuff we can see because it's changing. Things change. Now, symmetric with that is what's called the future, our future event horizon. Okay, a future event horizon. And that's something in our future. Okay, now, it turns out, all right, in fact, let me put it like this. You see the top, it turns out that there's an interesting correlation of these technical diagrams with the old mystical images, see, the Freemasons, and even with, guess what, Theosophy. Well, it's the Star of David. It really goes back to the Jewish, the Star of David. What is the Star of David? The two triangles, right? The two triangles. Well, here are our triangles. There they are. I mean, they're not quite. I mean, here's one triangle, and there's that triangle. In fact, wait, let me just go back. How do you go back on this thing? Go back. Oh, page up. Oh, wait. Okay. Okay. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
There we go.
There it is.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. First, let me. Okay. Okay. Wait. Let me go. Okay. Well, look. First, look at the. Okay, Robert Anton Wilson. I know Robert Anton Wilson was a kind of weird writer who I knew. Kim, he's gonna. But look what he had. Look what Wilson has here. Look at his image. Look at the Freemason, the Illuminati symbol.
Yeah.
See the Freemason? It's just like. So that's the future horizon. In this Penrose, with Roger Penrose's diagram. It's just curious. You know, I'm being a little loose here, but you can sort of, I'm being Jungian, right? I'm doing synchronicity, Jungian synchronicity. It's actually deeper than that. Because here's what it is. What is that? All the visionary prophets, all the visionary mystics and everything, what they are doing, they are remote viewing the future. See? Because we now know there were these CIA experiments at Stanford Research Institute with Russell Targ, Hal Puthoff, and stuff I was involved with back in the 70s. And, for example, Russell Targ, some of you may know, Russell Targ reported, this was an experiment done in 1973 or 1974, something like that, 75, during the Cold War. The Central Intelligence Agency is running these experiments from behind the scenes. And what they have, they give this, there's this guy named Ingo Swann. I think it was Ingo Swann. Ingo Swann is this artist, this kind of a weird guy. But he was very good at this remote viewing, so like Uri Geller and all that kind of stuff. And so the CIA gives him a set of latitude and longitude. And they ask him to, and this is reported by Russell Targ, and it's actually printed. And so they ask him, well, what does he see? You know, he's a visual artist, so they just give him the coordinates, and he draws a picture. And he's a painter. He's like, in fact, it's like a William Blake type art. You know. So he draws this picture, and they send it to Langley and all these analysts. And oh, this looks like a burnout. See, what they didn't tell him. But they didn't tell him the coordinates was of a Red Chinese nuclear test facility. In 4 days in the future, they were going to be exploding a nuclear bomb. He didn't know, Ingo didn't know any of this. It's 4 days in the past before it happens. And what it shows is the CIA, it's as if the bomb didn't go off. It's called a dud. It's like a, it's like a dirty bomb explosion. It failed. Okay, that's exactly what happened. And 4 days later, sure enough, that's what happened. So they have stuff like that. Okay. So the point is, this is now this is evidence. I mean, this is serious evidence by an intelligence agency. And I know the guys who do. I mean, I'm speaking, almost not quite firsthand, secondhand. I know the people involved, so I know it's real, and they're not just it's not just fiction. So. In the same way, a lot of these, in the Bible, look, the Bible's full of prophecy, right? All the ancient writing, everything's prophecy. They're saying, so these guys, they are remote viewing the same way Ingo Swann's remote viewing. They're saying, so it's no coincidence, really, that these kind of memes, these archetypal images are showing up before we had the physics. See what I mean? The poets are seeing it. Poets are seeing it, right? And they're seeing things. So this symbol here, that's exactly... this is the omega point on the Penrose conformal diagram. That's the omega point. And guess what? Guess what? See, now there's a guy named Seth Lloyd at MIT. And we're not talking about flaky people. We're talking about full professors at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Okay, and they have shown that the horizon is like a computer. It's actually a computer, and it's computing. It's like okay. So in fact, here's a picture from Seth Lloyd's paper. Wait a minute. Oh, and by the way, there's William Blake, okay? William Blake. See, that's, and that's God, right? That's Hawking.